Hi, my name is Ava. Welcome to my DSARI assignment, Home Energy Audit. Alright, so a little bit of background. I live at the uncommon dinky town, and it was just built recently in 2020. And I live with 4 other roommates. So there are 5 roommates total, and there's 1,356 square feet. 2 people share 1 room and 1 bathroom, while the other 3 have their own room and their own bathroom. Alright, energy context. So according to Call Me Power, the average kilowatts hour used per month for an average square foot residence of 1,828 is 759 kilowatts hour. I used this information because there was no information on Uncommon Dinky Town, likely because it was built just recently. And so in order to do the calculations, I projected the amount onto my apartment's use per square foot. So I took 1,828 square feet x equals 759 kilowatts hour multiplied by 1,356 square feet. This gave me 563 for my apartment, also known as 0.4 kilowatts hour per square foot. Alright. If we look at the chart from EIA, we can see that the residential sectors of the U.S. electricity use have a lot to do with heating and cooling. 14.2% of electricity and power go to space heating, while 15.7% go to cooling. Water is the next biggest sector, with water heating taking up 11.8% of the energy. Looking further into it, for an average 1,000 square foot housing unit, it's approximately 11 kilowatts hour per day for space heaters, 12 for cooling, and 10 for water heating. Alright, so with my calculations, I found the only variable power calculation that I did was with the fridge. And I measured the fridge from 10 a.m. until 11:30 a.m. the next day. I got results of 0.993 kilowatts hour per 25.5 hours. So I took 0.993 kilowatts hour and divided it over the total 25.5 hours and got 0.03894 kilowatts. I then took that number and multiplied it by 24 to get the total kilowatts per 24 hours and got 0.9346 kilowatts hour per day. The other calculation I did was with constant power, and this was for the hairdryer. There was no phantom power, so there were 0 kilowatts hour per day when it was off. When it was on, I measured a 1.584 kilowatts and multiplied that by the average amount I used per day, which was 0.25 hours, and then got 0.396 kilowatts hours per day for when it is on. Alright, so here's my weekly chime chart, and as you can see, the appliances that I used were the fridge, hairdryer, fishbowl heater, microwave, coffee maker, light bulb, and fairy lights and toaster. Alright, so with my findings, here's basically a summary of all my data, and as you can see, the largest user was the fridge at 28.04 kilowatts hours per month total. The second one was the hairdryer at 11.88. The third was the coffee maker at 11.32, and to no surprise, the fairy lights were the smallest user, even though they were on for long periods of time. They don't use up as much energy. Alright, so according to the data that was collected earlier, my apartment should measure out to being approximately 600 kilowatts hour per month, whereas I gathered 65 in total. This is likely due to some discrepancies, such as not being able to measure larger energy sources like the heating or cooling, or bigger energy users like the dishwasher or laundry machine. I also found it interesting that, similar to the chart from earlier, all of my appliances that are within the chart areas fit with how much energy they use. For example, the fridge used up most of the more than all the lighting that I measured. As we can see in this chart, we get similar results with the fridge using up more energy than lighting. Alright, and then some improvements that I could make. One of the biggest options to improve upon saving electricity would be to unplug items that might cause phantom power. I was surprised none of my items caused that, but it's definitely something to be aware of. Another could be to turn off lights, and when looking back at my logs, I realized that I use a lot of electricity for lights, and it's easy to leave them on, especially when they're not too bright and you don't notice them. And lastly, using a hairdryer is surprisingly high in energy intake, and air drying my hair is easy and could be something I changed in my lifestyle to save a lot of energy as well as money. Thank you.